On a storm-soaked highway, Judge Clara Wynne, known for her strict, hard-cold approach to the law, finds herself stranded with a flat tire and no help in sight. Then a humble mechanic named Mason Hale appears through the rain, fixing her tire with quiet kindness and expecting nothing in return. The next morning, Clara is stunned to see the same man standing in her courtroom, as the struggling single father in a custody case she was prepared to rule against. But now she knows the truth no report could show. What she did surprised everyone. But before we dive into what happens next, I'd love to know, where are you tuning in from today? Drop your country in the comment below and please like the video. Thank you. Now let's continue. The downpour came out of nowhere, pounding the highway until everything ahead looked washed in silver. Clara Wynne, a well-known family court judge admired for her calm presence, tightened her grip on the wheel as her red SUV swayed slightly. She eased the vehicle onto the shoulder and stepped out, only to find the problem waiting for her in the storm. One tire sagged flat, air hissing out in defeat while rain drenched her hair and clothes. The road was silent, stretching between thick walls of forest with no cars, no signal, and no backup. Clara dug out the spare tire from the trunk and crouched down to replace it, but the lug nuts wouldn't budge. Her expensive heels slid in the mud, and her chilled hands shook with effort. She had handled heated trials and emotional testimonies for years, yet this moment, alone in the rain, left her feeling powerless. A rumble of thunder rolled across the sky as tears slipped down her face, hidden easily among the raindrops. She had left the city in a rush that afternoon, hoping a long drive would help her breathe after a difficult morning in court. One case in particular lingered in her thoughts, a worn-out single father accused of negligence. She had seen many like him, pleading for mercy, swearing they could do better. But the law demanded clarity, not compassion. At least, that's what she had always believed. Then, through the sheets of rain, a pair of headlights glowed. An old, weather-scarred pickup slowed to a stop in front of her. A man climbed out, his coat dripping, boots cracked with age, but his expression steady and reassuring. He looked like someone battered by life but never defeated. "Need some help, ma'am?" he called, his tone firm yet warm. Before going further, moments like these remind us that kindness still matters. Clara hesitated, uncertain whether she should trust a stranger in the middle of nowhere, but something sincere in his voice made her nod. "Yes, thank you. The tire won't come off." He offered a small, understanding smile. "Let me check it out." Kneeling beside the wheel, he worked with calm, practiced motions. "Name's Mason Hale," he said as he tightened his grip on a sturdy wrench. "Good thing I keep my own tools. The ones that come with these cars are practically decoration." Clara observed him carefully. His clothes were plain and his truck had seen better days, but there was integrity in the way he moved, steady, patient, and respectful. Within a few minutes, the spare tire was secured in place. The man stood up, brushing rain from his forehead, and offered Clara a steady, comforting smile. "You're good to go now," he said. "Take it slow, all right? Roads get slippery this season." Clara released a shaky breath, relief warming her despite the cold. "Thank you," she murmured. "You just saved me from walking miles in this storm." He chuckled lightly. "It's nothing. Fixing things is kind of my specialty. My daughter jokes that I can repair anything except breakfast food. Says my pancakes taste like rubber." Clara couldn't help but smile. "You have a child?" His face brightened. "Yes. Her name's Lila. She just turned 7. Sharp as a tack, that girl. She's my entire universe." Something tugged at Clara's heart. "You sound like a wonderful father." Mason's smile faded into something softer, almost wounded. "I do my best," he answered quietly. "But some days, it feels like it's still not enough." Before she could respond, he lifted a hand in a polite farewell and stepped back toward his truck. "Be careful on the road, ma'am. Hope the rest of your evening goes smoother." With that, he drove off into the curtain of rain. Clara remained standing beside her SUV, the storm drenching her clothes as her thoughts whirled. His name, his weary eyes, something about him tugged at her memory. But it wasn't until the next morning, when she walked into her courtroom, that the realization hit her. There he was, Mason Hale, the man who had changed her tire in the storm. He stood at the defendant's table, the same worn jacket clinging to his shoulders, looking just as tired as the night before. Clara's stomach dropped as she looked at the file in front of her. The social services report was bleak: late payments, long work shifts, missed school meetings. But the papers didn't show the man who worked quietly in the rain to help a stranger without expecting anything in return. They didn't show the patience in his hands or the sincerity in his voice. Mason clasped his hands together, trying to steady himself. When he spoke, his voice was low but unwavering. "Your Honor, I'm doing everything I can for my daughter. I work 2 jobs, and I make sure she's safe. I know I don't have much, and I know I make mistakes, but I'll never stop fighting for her." Clara listened, silent but shaken. In that moment, she didn't see a case number. She didn't see a list of failures. She saw a father, one who would stand in the rain, exhausted and alone, and still find it in himself to help someone else. She saw a man weathering storms far fiercer than last night's. The scene of Mason kneeling beside her SUV in the pouring rain kept replaying in Clara's thoughts, softening something inside her that had long been rigid. For the first time in her career, the boundary between justice and compassion didn't feel so clear-cut. After carefully reviewing the testimony and documents, she spoke in a steady, measured tone. "Mr. Hale, this court acknowledges the issues raised in your case, but it also recognizes the genuine effort you've made to provide your daughter with safety and love. Therefore, the charges are dismissed, with the requirement that you enroll in the county's Family Assistance Program." Mason's eyes widened in disbelief. His voice trembled as he whispered, "Thank you, truly, thank you." Clara gave a small nod, trying to keep her emotions hidden. "Take good care of Lila, Mr. Hale. She's fortunate to have a father who fights for her." When he walked out of the courtroom, relief radiated from him like warm sunlight after the coldest storm. Clara remained at the bench, still and silent, letting the moment settle in her heart. That evening, beneath a calm sky free of clouds, she drove home thinking about how strangely, almost deliberately, fate had tied their paths together. The man she might have judged only by paperwork had shown her more sincerity in one rainy night than many polished witnesses had shown her in years. A week passed. One afternoon, Mason opened his mailbox and found an envelope bearing the judge's name. Inside was a short handwritten message. "Dear Mason, the night you helped me on the roadside reminded me that true goodness appears when no one is there to applaud it. You showed me that kindness is a principle the world should protect. I'm including contact information for a local employment program. I hope it brings new opportunities for you and Lila. With respect, Clara Wynne." Mason sat at the small kitchen table in his modest apartment, reading the note again and again until his eyes blurred with tears. Lila tugged at his sleeve, her voice puzzled. "Daddy, why are you crying?" He wrapped his arms around her and smiled through his tears. "Because, honey, someone out there decided we deserved a fresh start." From that moment forward, life slowly shifted. With the help of the program, Mason secured a steady position at a neighborhood repair shop. For the first time in a long while, he wasn't living paycheck to paycheck. Bills got paid on time. Groceries filled the fridge. Evenings became moments of joy, spent in the kitchen with Lila flipping pancakes, one she always burned, though he never once pointed it out. And on quiet nights, when gentle rain tapped against their window, Mason would pause, look outside, and smile. He never forgot the woman in the storm who reminded him that even in the hardest seasons, kindness has a way of finding those who need it most. If this story touched your heart even a little, please hit the like button and subscribe. Your support helps us share more real, human stories that remind the world what kindness looks like.